my name is Stephanie. I'm a licensed speech therapist, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the do's and don'ts of at-home speech practice with your toddler. If you're practicing with new speech and language skills at home, you might be wondering if you're doing it right. And it's hard to tell, because at-home speech practice will look different for every child. Each toddler has their own unique developmental pathway and activities they like to do. But there are some good habits you can use for successful at-home speech practice, and some things you definitely want to avoid. The first good habit for at-home speech activities is to practice at a time that's good for your child. Think of a time of day that your child's usually rested, fed, and happy. Plan to practice then. You want to practice when your child's at their best, because they'll be most likely to learn something new when they're happy and engaged in an activity with you. Avoid practicing when your child is tired, upset, hungry, needs a diaper change, or maybe they're sick. All of these things will make it harder for your child to pay attention and engage in activities with you. Therefore, it's less likely that they'll learn something new at those times. The second good habit you can make is to practice for the right amount of time. We know that learning to talk doesn't happen overnight, so it's best to practice a little bit every day. 10 to 30 minutes of practice with at-home speech activities is a great goal for you and your toddler. Avoid practicing for long stretches of time or hours in a single day. It's important to avoid these longer periods of practice because we want to avoid burnout. While it might be tempting to practice for 2 hours or more on day 1, it would be hard to keep that up by day 7 or day 20 and beyond. 15 minutes of practice a day would be much more manageable and easy to keep up with over the long haul. The next good habit for at-home speech activities with your toddler is about what you're practicing. You will want to practice with 1 or maybe 2 new skills at a time. And this will help with the quality of your teaching. It's much easier to teach one skill really well than it is to try to focus on 5 or maybe even more things at one time. And you're going to want to pick a skill that your child can already do with your help to teach first. We want to build up their language skills step by step, rather than jumping from 0 to 100, which almost always is really frustrating for you and your child. As I already mentioned, you want to avoid practicing too many skills at one time and avoid teaching skills that your child may not be ready to learn yet. And I know that finding the right activities to be practicing with your child can be the hardest part of home speech practice. And that's why I made the online Toddler Talk program, which allows you to easily find the best activities for you and your toddler to be practicing at home. I've linked it in the description below, and on to the next good habit. The fourth great habit is to have a plan. And now your plan is almost complete. You already know when you're going to be practicing, for how long you plan to practice, and what skills you're going to be focusing on. The last part of your plan is to figure out what activity or activities you might use to teach your child. When choosing your activities for practice, you want to think of things that you know your child likes. It could be a daily routine like getting dressed in the morning and picking out your outfit, or maybe building block towers during play. It doesn't matter what activity you pick, as long as your child has fun doing it. Try to avoid just winging it. We're all much more likely to follow through and make it happen when we have a plan, myself included. And the quality of your 10 to 15, maybe 30 minutes of speech practice a day is going to be so much better when we plan ahead, have an idea of what we're going to practice. And even though you might have to change your plan, because yes, toddlers are unpredictable, I guarantee you're more likely to follow through and make it happen if you have a plan. The fifth and last good habit of practicing speech successfully at home with your toddler is to set realistic expectations of what you're listening and looking for when you practice with your toddler. Expect your child to take some time when they're learning new skills. It may take them days or even a week to learn something new. And as always, please consult with your pediatrician if you do have concerns about your child's ability to learn new skills. They'll be able to point you in the right direction and get you appropriate support if that's their recommendation. Don't expect your child to pick up each new skill quickly. Although they might learn some new skills right away, it's probably going to take repetition and practice for them to acquire these new speech and language skills that you're focusing on at home. Setting realistic expectations and knowing that it might take some time for your child to learn a new skill helps you to avoid frustration or feeling like you're a bad teacher. And it's important to know that even after your child has learned a new communication skill, a new way to express their wants, needs, and ideas to you, they're still going to use the old way of communicating as well. So you can expect, listen, and look for the old and the new ways of communication. And that's a wrap. So to review, do practice when they're happy. Don't practice when they're hungry, upset, or tired. Do practice a little bit each day. Don't practice a few hours each day in the beginning and burn out. Do teach one new skill at a time. Don't try to teach everything at once. Do plan a few activities that might work for your speech practice at home. Don't try to wing it every time. Do remember to be patient as your child learns new things. And don't become frustrated if they don't get it right away. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting new videos about home speech and language practice with your toddlers each week. And just as a reminder, I've linked the Toddler Talk program in the notes below if you're looking for help planning your at-home speech practice and activities. And I've also linked my website and blog where I have other free information and resources for parents. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon.